who's actually going to get the most out of a 36-inch gas rangetop like this one? Who could walk away feeling like they overpaid? And does the price make sense for a typical home cook? That's the question on most people's mind before they drop a few $1,000s on a high-end stove. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started looking at the ZLINE Autograph Edition, the first thing I thought about was the kind of kitchen I'd be installing it into. It's a 36-inch unit with 6 burners, a porcelain-coated cooktop and those bronze accent knobs that look like they belong in a professional restaurant. The appeal is obvious, but the decision isn't just about how it looks. The real hesitation comes from the hidden costs: a dedicated 120-volt, 15-amp circuit, the weight of the cast iron grates, and the fact that you're committing to a gas line that can handle 6 burners at once. If you're in a rental or a small condo with limited electrical capacity, you could end up needing an electrician and a plumber just to get it powered, which adds up quickly. Let's talk about who should actually consider this range. If you're a serious home chef who frequently juggles multiple pots, sauces, and pans, think stir-fries, braises, and big batch soups, the 6 burners give you the flexibility to keep everything moving without crowding. The Italian-made sealed burners are designed to distribute flame evenly, which matters when you're trying to sear a steak on one burner while simmering a sauce on another. The durable cast iron grates can hold heavy Dutch ovens without wobbling, a real plus for anyone who likes to go big on the weekend. In that scenario, the upfront investment starts to feel justified because the range can actually keep up with the cooking rhythm you demand. On the flip side, if your cooking style is more about quick weeknight meals, a single burner for pasta and a couple of small pans for veggies, you might not notice the difference between this ZLINE and a more modest 30-inch model. The extra burners could end up sitting idle most of the time, and the premium finishes become more of an aesthetic statement than a functional advantage. For those buyers, the cost differential isn't easily offset by everyday use, and they might be better off looking at a mid-range gas cooktop that still offers solid performance without the boutique styling. Now, let's walk through a typical day in the kitchen with this rangetop. Imagine you're prepping a Sunday roast. You start by searing a beef joint on the front left burner. Thanks to the sealed design, the flame stays steady even as you adjust the heat. While that's going, you drop a pot of stock on the back right burner, using the rear placement to keep steam away from the oven door. The middle 3 burners stay free for side dishes, a sautéed mushroom medley, a quick boil of green beans, and a low simmer for a gravy reduction. Because the burners are spaced out, there's minimal heat crossover, which means each dish cooks at its intended temperature without one pot stealing heat from another. That kind of layout is a real strength you only notice when you're actually cooking multiple components at once. The porcelain cooktop surface is another practical point. It's easy to wipe down after a splash of sauce, but you do have to be mindful of the weight of the cast iron grates. They're hefty enough that lifting them off for deep cleaning is a 2-person job. If you're someone who likes to scrub the surface frequently, you'll need to plan for a bit of extra effort. Also, the bronze knob accents are gorgeous, but they're a small detail that can attract fingerprints and smudges, so you'll find yourself reaching for a cloth more often than you might with plain stainless knobs. A hidden trade-off shows up when you think about the installation process. The range needs a dedicated circuit, which means you can't just plug it into an existing outlet. If your kitchen's electrical panel is already maxed out, you could be looking at a significant upgrade. Similarly, the gas line must be sized for 6 burners. An undersized line can cause uneven pressure, leading to inconsistent flame sizes. In short, the just buy it and plug it in mindset doesn't apply here. You'll need a qualified professional to make sure the infrastructure can support the range, and that's an expense that catches many first-time buyers off guard. Let's address the price point directly. The ZLINE Autograph Edition sits in the high-end tier, largely because of the premium materials: 304 grade stainless steel, Italian-engineered burners, and the custom knob design. If you compare that to a comparable 36-inch gas range from a more mass-market brand, you're paying for the brand's reputation for craftsmanship and the aesthetic upgrade. The real value, however, comes from the durability of those components. The sealed burners are less prone to clogging and rust, which means they can last longer with less maintenance. For a homeowner who plans to keep the kitchen unchanged for a decade or more,